Okay, hello everyone. Lori Swanson here, CEO and founder of Inspire Tech and Career Alchemy Academy, which is a membership community for women in tech who are at a career crossroads, ready for something different, really can get themselves aligned with the idea that this might be an alchemical process that can be happening for them, that we can, let go of what's no longer working for us, create gold out of, what we're already bringing, forward in our career, and then create something new for ourselves through the support of me and live coaching and the community inside Career Alchemy Academy. You'll create the path, set the vision, create the path, and make things happen. So over my shoulder, there's a link to learn more about Career Alchemy Academy, or DM me and we can schedule a call if you'd like to talk about where you're at and where you want to go and what's getting in your way and how I might be able to help. So all that said, welcome. I'm excited to be here today. I'm going to be talking to you about and you guys, you all may have heard about all of this, but I call it Stop Chasing Your Career Dreams. And this is a surprising lesson from the famous marshmallow test. So raise your hand, raise your electronic hand, wave your hand in the air. Not that I can see anyone, but if you've heard of the marshmallow test, because I'd heard about it, here and there on podcasts. People have mentioned it. It was talked about in Angela Duckworth's book, Grit. More recently, I was reading a nonfiction book that I loved, by the way, called Wellness by Nathan Hill. That's a fascinating book. Just layers of interesting things, but they talked about the marshmallow test there, and which really prompted me to want to write this blog, actually, because of some new information that came that I got from that book. And also, my assistant said to me after she kind of is my, other eyeballs on the blogs that I write, and making sure, I got all the words in there and stuff. And then she gets it set up so that you all can read it. If you're on my newsletter, you will get it in written form. Or of course, we promote it here on LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. So, and she said she remembers them talking about this during her psychology class in college, right? So it's been out there. And what I was thinking about with this particular marshmallow test was how it connects to our career dreams and how we think about our career dreams and how we actualize our career dreams. So just to give you a little bit of background in the marshmallow test. So the original study was in like the late 60s, early 70s, came out of Stanford. The psychologist's name was Walter Mischel. I think that's how it's pronounced. And they did a lot of research and several different studies with, different groups and things like that. What they were really studying was delayed gratification and self-control. And so they had groups of kids come in, and they would tell them, you can have one marshmallow right now, or if you wait several minutes, 10, 15 minutes, you can have two, right? And so sometimes the kids were given something fun to do while they were waiting. Other times the marshmallows were in sight. Other times the marshmallows were out of sight. But ultimately, what they deducted from that particular, that particular study was, and it isn't just from the study, because then they followed the kids into their future. And I mean, I think like 10, 15, 20 years, like, far into the future. And they determined, or they decided that those children who delayed the gratification, waited so they could get two marshmallows instead of one, had greater success in the future, better like SAT scores, they had healthier lifestyles. They just overall better self-control, and what that means to your the success in your life. So they just thought you can determine from a young age that a kid either has the self-control or doesn't, which I think I would have fallen into that impulsive group. And so that's why that test always kind of bothered me, because I thought to myself, I don't know if I would have waited for the second marshmallow, or I might have waited for the second marshmallow. I don't know, but I do think of myself as is probably on the spectrum of being leaning more into impulsive behavior around in certain areas, though I would say I'm pretty disciplined in others. So then I'm sort of both, and that it was, on one hand, I thought to myself, I did really well in school and on my SAT scores and things. So that doesn't quite jive with what they're saying. And so just like all those studies, it isn't, we all want to kind of find a solution or put things into boxes. And I didn't quite fit into the box, but I did feel like there must be something wrong with me in a way, that I was a little more impulsive, which must mean that I'm going to have, not as strong as, the better outcomes that those who are less impulsive and had more self-control. But good to know, years later, many, many years later, more recently, in the last few years, they re-looked at the data on that study. And what they found out was that it wasn't specifically that the person has, is impulsive or not impulsive, right? That's self-discipline, self-control, or not discipline and self-control. That wasn't really it. It wasn't like this innate thing that then would cause, these less desired outcomes in life. But that in fact, it was the newer studies looking more closely at the data said that you couldn't, it was that the self-control or that impulsivity was a much less valuable predictor of successful outcomes later in life of people. And in fact, and this won't necessarily come as a surprise unless you've heard this marshmallow test 1,000 times like I had, and now you're like, oh, this is a new thing. But it was in fact that the environment that the child grew up in, the socioeconomic status, that they had, just the general level of trust in the promise of future rewards, or that they had an environment that was supportive of them, that would actually be a better predictor of future success, right? So if you believe, because you grew up in an environment where your needs were provided for consistently, that there would be more where that came from, right? Your chances of future success would be higher. In short, waiting is useful, can be useful, but more importantly, believing in the promise of your future and having an environment that supports that matters a lot more. So what does all this mean to your career, right? So I started thinking about, like, how, because I can't help myself. I'm always like, how does this help me and help my clients, and who are people that are really figuring out how to create a very satisfying career path for themselves that's financially prosperous, that's balanced, that's fun. These are the measure of successful outcome. And as we go along, like I think that's, kind of the bottom line is we want to make a difference, and we want to have fun, and we want to feel safe financially, and just in our, in the teams that we work in, and the business, the people we work with, that sort of thing. That's really what we're going for. And so, how does this new information on the marshmallow study apply to your career. So here's how I was translating it. And let me get my notes so I don't forget. So imagine the marshmallow that's sitting on the table is your current career opportunity. Okay. And then the promise of more marshmallows so that your potential, I say this a lot, that you are perfectly positioned for whatever you need for your next step. Like right now, you don't have to add anything, you lack nothing. You're perfectly positioned for what's next, that will be available to you. As in more marshmallows are coming. So you are your current opportunity, your current career is this current marshmallow. And then you have a promise of career advancement and future potential and growth and impact roles and you're just bigger roles or whatever your career dream is, that's available to you. Those are the more marshmallows that are sitting out there in front of you on your, career path. And you can decide to either grab the current offering, let's say, that's right in front of you, or you can wait for something that's a little further down the road because you know it's coming. That's this, well, I'll tell you, that's sort of the difference between lack and scarcity mindset, like grabbing it right now just because we might not get any more, right? I have to take this offer. I don't know how many times I saw this. The person starts a job search and they have an idea of how much money that they want to make, right? I want to increase by 10%, fair. And so they're making 100 and they want to get to 110 and they start interviewing and maybe they aren't getting interviews as quickly as they would have liked, or they're not getting offers as quickly as they would have liked. And then as they get an offer, it's for 98,000. So it's actually a pay cut. Yet they're now in this there are no more marshmallows mindset. I better take the one that's right in front of me. And they cut themselves off from greater opportunity and of course, more money and all that because of this, choosing not to believe that the marshmallows are out there, that they're coming. And it is hard when, you get that first offer, especially if you're unemployed. But if you can be patient, or you can think about it, if you're unemployed, I wouldn't argue with taking the marshmallow that's presented and then continuing but still believing that there's more and better marshmallows coming to you, and thinking about that you're taking this marshmallow just to fulfill the current need. Like, let's say you're hungry, and this is gonna fill that hunger, right? For now, but that does not mean that you're stopping your job search or stopping believing that more money and more opportunity and more impact and more growth for you in your career is on its way to you. It's just hasn't arrived yet. So you keep believing that, right? The environment or your belief in the future is, so we have the marshmallow, the current opportunity. We have these marshmallows that are sitting out there waiting, on their way to you. We have you making this choice between taking a marshmallow that I don't really want, that in my ideal world I wouldn't take, but I am afraid that there's nothing else coming, versus you choosing to be patient and wait for the marshmallow that's more aligned with the career path and the salary that you want, for example. And then finally, besides the marshmallow and the belief in future marshmallows and the knowledge of the choice that you actually have between lack and scarcity and belief in the future prosperity and abundance. And then finally, this environment and the belief in your future that comes from your mindset. So that, the network you have is going to be a resource for you. So this environment around you is going to support you in receiving these marshmallows that are sitting out in the future. So it's your network of support. It's your mindset of believing in that, that it's coming. It's the resources that you can trust. your skills, your education, your past experience, all of those things, just really having the mindset of these are the things that are going to bring me these marshmallows. So when you decide that what you desire is already coming to you, I mean, you could just, even if you just said that to yourself right now when you're hearing me or reading my blog, if that's how you're looking at this, if even you've said to yourself right out loud, I am deciding to believe that what I desire is on its way to me, that I'm already prospering and that I will continue to prosper, that the marshmallows that I'm craving, yearning for are coming, or on their way, then you just operate from a different energy. You can feel a different energy shift just by saying, I decide to believe in the future, my desires are being, my future desires are being fulfilled or on their way to being fulfilled, right? So you're not scrambling, you're not panicked, you're not grasping, like getting everything now, getting the marshmallow now because there might not be any more. So that's this whole like believing in that they're coming versus that scarcity mindset of like, this might be my only chance. I cannot wait. I must grab what's right in front of me. And so, you just, it's that impulsive. I mean, I've felt this for myself and suffered the consequences of impulsive behavior, even just um I don't know, it's like thinking concert tickets. Recently thinking we weren't going to be able to get these particular concert tickets that we wanted. And so I was like in there and pushing the button, okay, refresh, refresh. I'm going to get these tickets. And then they finally pop up. Um, and I just get them. And then, of course, later there's an opportunity to get better seats for cheaper. And I thought to myself, that's just me believing that I won't get any tickets at all. That the future marshmallows are not coming my way, that I better grab this marshmallow now. Sometimes with tickets, though, you kind of got to grab the marshmallow. But anyways, but you know what I mean? Like there's something about, just trying to take what's right in front of you instead of trusting that something better, as good or better is coming. And so, it's acting out of fear. It's, just pouncing on something, and that can increase friction. Can cause greater stress. I think it slows things down. It creates more second guessing, perhaps, and in my case, regret that I just, there. And again, I ignore my intuition when I'm in that scarcity mindset. So there was something that said, you don't have to get these right now. Like there's other avenues coming, because we were on a pre-sale. And so we could wait for the other sale and more tickets, that better seats would be available. And a whole bunch of different options. And so that we just that fear and scarcity causes us to act in ways that don't always serve us. So using this marshmallow research as a metaphor, because I love my metaphors, and as a caution, if you believe that your future holds more marshmallows, you'll take action or no action at all from a place of calm confidence. I really think when you believe that there are more marshmallows coming, you do lean into the intuition more. You do let yourself be guided by what feels like the next right step for you, instead of racing your way towards something. Even if past evidence, like your past experience, your past environment, might suggest that you should rush, that your scarcity mindset, comes into play, you can choose differently. You can decide to pause. You can decide that, through your power of choosing, your dreams that you want, that you really are craving, again, how you want your career to be will come more quickly and more fully fulfilled, um, if you're not rushing it, or, and again, having that energy of lack. And then finally, just believing in abundance over lack is the very pivot that separates what I think of as just, you know, a um, a good career move, perhaps, or a stopgap career move from an aligned career choice. So I always go back to, what creates alignment. And when you are aligned, you don't have to hustle, you don't have to worry, you don't have to um, get what's yours. We're not in a competitive situation here. You can sit back, relax, state that I decide to believe that what I'm desiring in my career is on its way to me, and that I will know it, and I will grab that marshmallow when I feel it, but it won't come from me thinking that's all there is, right? So to sum it up, when you truly believe you can achieve your dreams today, not only do you get the first marshmallow, but you get s'more. I had to use the s'more. I mean, we're talking marshmallows, right? I had to use I actually, when I was writing the blog, I had it in there somewhere, and I'm like, I need to use it more than once. So I think it might be in the blog like 3 times, because I just thought it was so clever to talk about marshmallows and s'more and getting s'more, instead of, thinking that there's only one some more for you, but there's some more coming. So now I've said it even some more on this today's LinkedIn Live. So that's it for today. I just hope that marshmallow study was always I love research. I just love these people inside of universities, especially given what's happening, has been happening for the last few months. I just want to give a shout out to those people who are researching, not just cures for cancer and those sorts of things, but are doing these psychological research, behavioral, uh, economy, and like all of these types of research that's going on with all these smarty PhDs and their teams and in their labs. I just bow down to that. I learn from it. I love it. I am it opens up, my mind to new possibilities. And so that's what the marshmallow test. I thought the first study was interesting enough, right? Just thinking, that people are born either impulsive or not impulsive. And if you're born impulsive, you might struggle a little bit more. And then to find out it has less to do with, innate impulsivity, not impulsivity, but more about your environment, which, no, we know that already, right? We know that, privilege uh, sets communities up for greater success, and those who are less privileged have a harder time of it. I think we know that already, obviously, but just thinking about it from a place of where we have control, because we can blame all kinds of things outside of us, but I always come back to like taking 100% responsibility and knowing that I can decide that here I am today, and this marshmallow presents itself to me, an opportunity in my career, and I don't have to take it for fear that something else, that there won't be something else equally or better coming, but that I can choose to take it because it feels like the right thing to do, or I can choose to say no because that feels like the right thing to do. And then I can just calmly sit back and wait for some more marshmallows. So that's it for today. I always love talking to all of you who ever listen. Tell people about the LinkedIn Live. Please, I'm asking for all your women in tech. If you are a woman in tech, reach out to me. Let's talk. We're coming into 2026. I truly feel, and here comes my spiritual side coming. I think 2026 is a pivotal year. I think there's lots and lots of things. I think it's the beginning of a lot of change coming. And when I think about alchemy. I think, transformation, transfiguration, I think this is all coming, and I think 2026 is pivotal. And so now's the time to reach out to me, get on a call. We'll talk about your career alchemy process and get you the support either with me through the community, or I can point you in directions. I'm more than generous with all my ideas. You don't have to take them, but also my connections. And if you know a woman in tech who might be interested, you don't have to, you just say, if you're a woman in tech, you should follow Lori, you should talk to Lori. And they'll know if it's right for them. But if you know they're at a career crossroads, then they definitely need to talk to me. So that's my ask today is, join Career Alchemy Academy, or get on a call with me, or refer someone to me, so that we can make 2026 take advantage of, it isn't just external stuff. There is a lot of internal stuff going on. And I know you guys, many of you all can feel it. And we want to stir up that pot. We want to get rid of the dross, and we want to create gold. So let's go. Talk to you all soon. Have a great day. See you next week.